No. Oh snap. Can't see my GPS. We're following the trail. Am I recording? Oh, neutral.
What's up guys, Trevor Hunter here at Dirt Bike Test. Today we are comparing the KLX300 and the CRF300. These are two kind of entry-level dual sport, we would say, dual sport models, 300cc four-stroke engines, both plated bikes here in California. They come with all the smog and emissions and whatnot. So these bikes are 100% street legal, and they're meant more for kind of entry-level, newer, maybe novice level riders. Quite different than what like the CRF300 or the CRF450L might be, or even like, you know, the KLR650s, more adventure bike stuff. These are kind of smaller displacement dual sport bikes, and we had a chance to ride both of these at the Big Bear Dual Sport Ride earlier in the year, and then do some riding around since then. And we thought we'd do a little comparison and see how they stack up against each other. So start with the engine. Very different engine characters between the two. Not to say that one's better than the other, although we both of our riders preferred one engine. There's nothing wrong with either engine, they just perform differently. The Honda engine has a lot of torque and bottom end power. You could put the thing in like third gear and never touch the clutch all day. It's just incredible how much torque and power it has down low. You could ride it, I mean, you're barely even off idle and the thing just chugs along, no stalling. Super easy to ride. If you're kind of learning how to ride and how to use a clutch, it's definitely a really good motor for that. Or even if you're an advanced level rider, you're just riding some technical terrain and some rocks and whatnot, it's super easy to kind of just, you know, beat and bop your way up little rocky hills and canyons and you know, not abuse the clutch. You don't have to worry about shifting a whole lot, being in the right gear. The bike just goes. So that Honda motor is really special. The Cowie motor is quite different. Not a whole lot of torque and bottom end power, but it has makes a lot of power up top. So if you're riding a lot more faster terrain, more experienced level riders, you might prefer that Kawasaki engine. Like I said, it revs out pretty good, makes a lot of power up top. And if you're gonna do a drag race down the street, I would say the Kawasaki's gonna win 9 times out of 10. But the Honda, you get in the slower speed or less advanced riders, that Honda torque and that bottom end power is really easy to ride, and honestly it's fun to ride. It just makes it so easy that it's just fun. And neither of these bikes are real rocket ships. You're not going to be going 70, 80 miles an hour down the freeway. At least I would hope not. These bikes aren't meant for that. And I think both bikes topped out right around 55 to 60 miles an hour. It's all as fast as we wanted to go on these things up there in Big Bear. But both bikes, like I said, they're capable of going fast. You know, two different power characteristics. The Kawasaki's more of a rever. The Honda's more of a torque lugging machine. And that kind of plays into the suspension setup as well. The Honda comes stock very soft, very comforting for, you know, very small bump stuff, slow speed, rocks, whatnot. The newer riders really like that soft suspension just because it's super plush and easy to ride. You're not going to get bucked around or deflection or anything like that. But as the speeds get up or as kind of the bumps get bigger, you definitely will find the limits of that suspension very quickly. And we definitely found it in our Big Bear ride and our riding since then. You really got to take your time in the bigger whoops and kind of some G outs and just typical dual sport stuff that you might see. You really just got to be on your toes and be aware of what's coming up and what's around you. You don't want to come blasting in some whoops or hit a big rain rut or something. So you'll definitely find the limits and blow through and bottom out really, really quickly on the Honda. The Kawasaki, while it is still soft, it's much more sporty and aggressive than the Honda suspension. It's capable of hitting stuff a lot harder. Still not, I mean, you're not going to hit a motocross track and do big jumps or, fly across a set of whoops super fast, but it is a lot more capable of hitting stuff harder than the Honda suspension. So the Kawasaki does have that going for it. It's also worth noting that the Kawasaki suspension is adjustable, whereas the Honda, you can adjust the preload on the shock, but that's about as far as it goes as far as adjustment capabilities on the Honda. But the Kawasaki, you can adjust compression, you can adjust the preload and the sag and whatnot. And so the components of the Kawasaki are much higher quality and much more, like I said, just adjustable, unlike the Honda. So the Kawasaki does have the suspension going for it. And like I said, that stiffer suspension, it does lend itself to more higher revving, more aggressive motor. And I feel like the Kawasaki overall is just a more aggressive bike in general. Not that either are really fire-breathing bikes that you're going to go race with, but the Kawasaki is more sporty. I should say more sporty than aggressive, with that higher revving motor character and that little bit stiffer suspension. It lends itself to that, and our higher level riders definitely appreciated that when they spent time riding it. The Honda, like I said, super easy to ride. It's really fun how easy to ride it is. You almost just shut your brain off and just kind of cruise and kind of just react to what's coming up and whatnot. You don't have to really, you're not planning for anything. You just, like I said, that torquey motor, soft suspension, you could hit anything slow and just make it through it, and really makes you feel like a good rider. Kind of one thing we noted, at that Big Bear Dual Sport, which you can check out our video we did on that, is both of these bikes really are very easy to ride. The lack of power, so to speak, and whatnot. They're so easy to ride that you're not making mistakes, you're not spinning the wheel, you're not blowing out stuff. You're just really just riding and always moving forward and making progress. So even our advanced level riders that off-road pros can make some really cool stuff happen on these bikes because of how easy they are to ride, and you can ride the bikes to the limit. Whereas a big 450 dual sport or 500cc dual sport, that sounds cool and all, but it's a lot of power, it's a lot of bike, and for a lot of riders it's too much. And then that's not even to go, they start uncorking it and putting all these modifications on, and pipes and triple clamps and ECUs and all this stuff that really they're just detuning the bike. The easier the bike is to ride, the better rider you are. And both of these bikes exemplify that a lot. We got the top 10 overall at the Big Bear Dual Sport ride. That wasn't necessarily a race, but I'd say based on the people that were there and how they were riding, it was definitely a race. Like I said, we got top 10 on these bikes, and the only thing we did was we put these skid plates and we put Dunlop off-road motorcycle tires on. We didn't really ride with the street tires a whole lot just because what we're mainly riding in the dirt, and we really want dirt tires on that for performance reasons and safety reasons. But yeah, like I said, overall, both these bikes super easy to ride, whether you're a beginner or even an advanced level rider. These bikes are capable. We proved that in Big Bear and since then. But these definitely, you don't want to shake a stick at these things. They have a lot of potential, and we actually have some mods coming for this Honda CRF300. We're gonna try an exhaust, maybe do some suspension stuff. Just try to make it a little more comfortable, and just see how far we can go with these bikes. But like I said, overall, very capable bikes. If you're an entry-level, newer rider, definitely would have and consider looking at these things. Like I said, they're super easy to ride. They're great to learn on, great to cruise around town. Good and mild off-road, mild to technical off-road. I wouldn't do anything super fast or high speed, anything rough. But if it's slower speeds or just some fire roads, these bikes are pretty fun and have a lot of potential for sure. Some of the smaller things that we can compare to, the foot pegs on the Honda are quite a bit bigger and just offer a lot more comfort. For long rides, the Honda foot pegs are the way to go. The Kawi ones are super small, old school, and just, not the biggest platform. So that's one thing we really would like to upgrade instantly with the Kawasaki is the foot pegs. The Honda ones, like I said, the Honda ones are good. Kawasaki ones could use some work. Fuel range on these bikes. The Kawasaki use more fuel than our Honda. We got right at about 110 miles on a tank of gas, and we were on fumes. Whereas the Honda, we were able to get that same 110 miles and still had we had about a quarter gallon left in the tank. So the Honda definitely is better on fuel economy. Like I said, comfortability, both these bikes are very similar in the kind of the wider triangle cockpit. Other than the foot pegs, like I said, the Honda foot pegs are noticeably better than the Kawi. But overall, the overall setting is they're very smaller. They're smaller. Like I said, they're smaller bikes, so they're smaller, a little bit more cramped wider triangles. But for a lot of the people that are buying these bikes, it's probably a better thing. That little bit lower seat height. Weight. Both bikes really feel very similar in weight in terms of handling on the trail. So really there wasn't a whole lot of difference other than that Kawasaki suspension being a little bit stiffer. Might help it feel a little bit lighter as well because it's not so wallowy and kind of riding lower in the stroke. It's a little bit more playful in that sense, but overall not a huge difference there. So to wrap it up, it's like that. The Kawasaki is a little bit more of a sporty package than the Honda. The Honda is very, very relaxed, chill, mellow all the way around. That good usable torque, bottom end power in the motor, soft suspension. Kawasaki, a little bit higher revving motor, a little bit stiffer suspension and adjustable suspension at that. But both these bikes are really good entry-level dual sport bikes, and like I said, they're very capable in stock form. We proved that at that Big Bear ride, finishing top 10 overall. But what they're really designed for is that slower speed, entry-level dual sport, and I think both bikes hit the nail on the head and are very good, very solid options in that department. So the Honda retails for $54.99. You got Ryan Dudak here trying to play favorites. The Honda 300L retails for $54.99. The Kawasaki retails for $61.99, so it's quite a substantial price difference between the two. I think a lot of that just comes down to the suspension components. That Kawasaki having the adjustable suspension components goes a long way and kind of adds to that retail price. But both bikes are just right around that $6,000 mark. And but yeah, stay tuned to dirtbiketest.com for more on these bikes as well as all other testing, and we'll see you out on the trail.